I'm going to also have to keep my eye on the waiting room. But welcome to our last career programming from alumni engagement. We're going to spend a little time today talking about your LinkedIn profile. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have some time to also go over some ways to connect with your fellow students and fellow alumni in the School of Business, and how to find other Wake Foresters on LinkedIn. But I highly encourage you all to continue to read the emails that we send. We will have lots of opportunities this summer. We have sketched out the summer a little, but really we'll have everything up hopefully in the next couple of weeks. And if you have ideas on programming or topics that you'd like to see more programming on, we would love to hear from you, because we think we know what you need, but we don't actually know what you need. So if you let us know, we'll do everything we can to put things together that can help advance your careers. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Sharon Vogler. I am super lucky to be able to serve here in the School of Business for the last 13 years. I've supported students mostly in the pre-experienced master's programs, but here in the last year and a half, I have worked with alumni and most recently added on working with MBA students. And so I focus on career development, not necessarily career coaching or job search coaching, but really professional and career development. And so one of the tools that we use for career development, I know I use it every single day, is LinkedIn. And LinkedIn has changed a lot over the last few years, especially the last year. And so I wanted to spend just a little bit of time here at the beginning and talk about that, because LinkedIn is a non-negotiable, right, when it comes to your job search. Or even if you use it right for your own professional development and your own career development. I learn a lot on LinkedIn. I learn a lot about all the different business sectors that I need to be really smart about. I learn a lot about tools such as AI. I learn about different ed tech and career tech platforms. And then, of course, I also use LinkedIn as this living, breathing database of everyone I know in the business world. And so I don't know about you all, but the older I get, the harder it is for me to remember some certain things. And so when I'm approached with an ask, I'll sit here and think, oh, who is that person that I know that works for Duke Energy in Charlotte and does, communications with them? I can't always remember those things. And so I immediately go to LinkedIn, and it's like this living Rolodex, right? We don't have those physical things on our desk anymore that we have to go through to remember people's phone numbers. It's really all on LinkedIn. But not everyone is on LinkedIn. And so if you're in a job search, or if you're in a job that needs, right, access to a lot of people and know, right, who decision makers are, and know the types of titles that you should be reaching out if you need those kind of people, then you're on it a lot. Like I said, I'm on LinkedIn every day. And when I'm not on my desktop version, if it's before a meeting or after a meeting, or if I'm waiting for the dentist to call me back for my annual cleaning, then I'm sitting in the waiting room looking at LinkedIn. If I'm watching a show with my husband that I don't really care about, then I'm sitting on my phone and I'm scrolling through LinkedIn. And so know that we use it every day here in the School of Business to promote programs, to connect students with alums and alums with alums. And so I highly encourage you all to pay attention to how you're showing up on LinkedIn, and know that it is a super helpful tool. And so I didn't prepare any specific slides, because I wanted to really do a live demo and go through the nuts and bolts of some baseline things that you need to be thinking about when you are when you're in LinkedIn and like I said, how you're showing up, how your professional or personal brand is affected. So I'm going to attempt to go to LinkedIn here. So here we go. So make sure that y'all help me that I'm going to the right place. Can everyone see my LinkedIn profile? Someone.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Great. All right. And so um, many people in the world of business, in the world of work, no matter what kind of job you have, we are using LinkedIn to get some immediate information about people. Okay, so if I'm hiring for a person on my team, and if someone refers somebody, like I know someone and they're really interested in a role on your team, like, oh, great, I'd love to see their resume. Oh, well, I don't have a copy right now. I'll get one for you. And I'm not going to wait around. I'm going to go right to LinkedIn and I'm going to look at their LinkedIn profile and get some baseline information. So you want to show up in a way, right, that really communicates who you are as a professional. And really think about, some of these really important sections of LinkedIn. And so when I pulled up my profile, I landed on this landing page. Okay. And when you're on the phone app is good, but it's not as good as the laptop version. But when you're on the laptop or you pull someone up on the phone, this is the section that we're making immediate judgment on everything that's kind of here in this first quadrant, if you would, of your LinkedIn profile. So the very first thing that I want you to pay attention to is your profile picture. Now, LinkedIn loves to change things up. As soon as I think I know LinkedIn inside and out, I'm in a demo like this and they change something. But one of the big changes they made in the last, it's probably been 4 or 5 years, was that they made the profile picture a lot smaller. And then you can see this background picture where I have a picture of the library in Wake Forest in the fall, right? This background picture is taking up a majority of this landing page when you go to someone's profile. And so we are making immediate judgment off of this profile picture, but we're also really communicating who we are as a professional with this background picture. So you really need to pay close attention to both of those things. Now let's start with the profile picture. This is a photo that a colleague of mine took on my iPhone. Okay, it was in portrait mode. And the lighting, if you've ever been in Farrell Hall on a beautiful day, the lighting in our lobby is amazing. And so we were able to capture this picture on an iPhone. And so I blurred out the background and really focused in on my headshot. Now, LinkedIn does suggest that it is shoulders up, and this is a little bit more than shoulders up. But a majority of that circle there is my face. It's a headshot. Okay, you don't want it to be a full body shot, and you don't want to have too many distracting things going on in the background. You want it to be well lit. Okay, you want to have good lighting here because people are making immediate judgment calls, right, on whether they want to look further on your profile, scroll down, right? Or even want to talk to you based on that photograph. So spend some time and really pick a photograph that's well lit, that's mainly your face or your head shot, sorry, and smile, right? This is a great tool here. This smile can say a lot about you. And so it needs to be a warm and inviting smile, someone that you would want to do business with, okay? And really consider your personal brand here. Now, I don't have a full suit on. I've got a sweater and a collared shirt on. I would call this business casual. And that's how we show up here at Wake Forest every day. It's more of a higher ed look. If you're more in a corporate setting where, you're in an investment bank or in some kind of corporate banking or retail banking, industry, then you might want to consider, something a little bit more formal. But really think about that. Now, the next section I want to talk about is this background picture, because like I said, it's taking up almost a half of the landing page that we're on here. Okay. And so I took this picture. It's a stock photo that our human resources department was using. And I just thought it was a really pretty picture of Wake Forest. Hopefully you all recognize that it's Wake Forest. I've also got this it included this logo here of Wake Forest. And so I also thought it was a really good color palette that kind of picked up, right, some of the colors, right, that I'm wearing there. Plus, it's a billboard. It's a billboard of you and your professional brand. And I'm advertising right here that I'm hiring. Okay. And so there's so many creative ways now that we can think about these background pictures. And one of the ways that we can do that is to create our own. Now, this is I think a whole lot of fun. Now, I have a creative background, so it's fun for me. It might not be fun for you, but if you need additional help figuring out how to create your own background, then please do not hesitate to reach out. But it's super simple. Canva is this unreal resource that I use again almost every day. I have a creative background, but I'm not a graphic designer. Okay. Canva is like graphic design for dummies. Okay. And it's really fun. You can go up here and search LinkedIn banners. Let me put a space in there. And Canva has already like positioned these banners, done all the hard work for you on the sizing, the colors. You can pick from so many different shapes and sizes of these banners. Okay. And again, it's super simple to do. You literally select this template. You have to make a copy, which I didn't do. But let's say I made a copy, and you can very simply, if it's going to catch up with me, it's going to catch up. You go in and you can just change this, right? It's super, super simple. And so you can go in here and you can change, job search specialist, whatever. However you want to show up. It can be your name, it can be your title. If you're trying to sell something, if you're a realtor, it's a really easy tool. You can see it's so easy to change the size. You can change the font. You can change the picture. You just upload a file. Let's say I wanted to use, these are stock photos that I used for something else and personally, but let's say you just drag this over, and you can go in and switch around the formatting so that, again, it's another way for you to communicate who you are as a professional. Once you do those changes, I'm not going to spend too much time doing it actually live, but no, it's very simple. And once you get it right, you just download it as a image and you upload it right to LinkedIn. Any questions about that? I went through it pretty quickly. Here's one that I did for Amanda Ambrose. We did this. We customized a LinkedIn banner for her. And I think it does a really good job of communicating who she is. Questions? Okay. The next most important thing that you need to pay attention to is what I call the headline. And I'm pretty sure LinkedIn calls it the headline too. But this is the information that's right underneath your name. Okay. And so you get a pretty good amount of space here to communicate again further who you are as a professional. Now, I've used these inserted emojis because that's kind of who I am. Again, it gives me a layer of creativity that's really backs up some of the things that I have to offer in the workplace. or in the world of business. Of course, you don't need to use these emojis if you don't feel comfortable doing it. But really, everything that you need to know about me is sitting in this headline. I've used some specific titles, and I've told you exactly what I'm the best at, right? So if you pull me up on a search, some random search, and you see just my photograph and this headline, hopefully I've communicated what I need to so that you pick me in a long list of people to ask to write your resume, to ask about networking techniques, or to ask about alumni support at Wake Forest. Okay, any questions about your headline? If you're thinking about pivoting careers or switching careers, you need to start thinking about using titles that describe the job you want, not necessarily the job that you have. And that's a longer conversation. But you can add additional layers to your current title that will then start to communicate maybe some ideas of a pivot within this headline section. You also want to check to make sure your contact information is right. I get a lot of, I don't want to use the word complaints, but there's lots of rumblings with students that I work with and alumni who say, I'm getting ghosted on LinkedIn. I'm sure many of you have probably experienced some of the same thing. And it could be a variety of different reasons. But one of the reasons is that maybe that person hasn't logged into LinkedIn since they had to create a LinkedIn profile for a class that they were registered in and enrolled in. And it could be that there's an email address sitting in their contact information that's no longer valid. So if they have notifications turned on, those notifications are going to an invalid email address, okay, or one they don't check anymore. So check your contact information and make sure that this is an email address that you regularly have access to. I also, if you go into settings, you can also in the security layer within your settings, you can hide or show public email addresses, telephone numbers, birth dates. There's a lot of different information that you have the ability to turn on and off. But the only thing I really want people to know is my email address. I don't want them to know my phone number. Okay, check your contact information. The next section that I want to think about is this about section. Okay, and most people don't read the about section. Okay, so I don't want you to spend a whole lot of time on it. If it's too long and it's too dense, of course, they're going to get reader fatigue and they're not going to read it. Like big walls of text really turn people off. Okay. But what I want to draw your attention to here is that in the about section, before I hit this see more, these are the 3 lines that everybody's going to see. So make sure that the first 3 lines are exactly what you want to communicate to people. Okay. If they are just scrolling on your page, then they're going to see this without clicking the see more. Now, I do have more information here about me, but I've really used this section to embed keywords. Okay. And so again, I used these cute emojis because I think they're cute. I also think it chops up the text a little and makes it a little bit more interesting. But LinkedIn has now got these really fantastic tools that will write these for you. And so you can see, I can put in a lot of information. It may not be grammatically correct, could have typos in it. But if I do that and I click this Write with AI, their AI integrative tool will rewrite your about section for you. You could also take your resume, jump over to whatever AI platform that you are comfortable with using. I'm the most comfortable with ChatGPT at this time. And I could take my resume over to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to write me an about section for LinkedIn using bullets. And then you can even say, use keywords in these three categories, and it'll spit it all out right for you. Any questions about the about section?
I did have a quick question, really quick. Is that AI add-on, the Write with AI, available to all users or only if you have premium?
That's a good question. I do have premium. Do you not?
No, I don't. And I'm in my profile and all it says is get AI suggestions with premium.
Okay. And so it must just be a premium feature. Good note, good note. But again, you could jump over to whatever AI tool that you use without having to get the premium subscription of LinkedIn to get it to write that AI, using AI to write your about section. That's a good point. Thanks for bringing that up. Other questions about the about section? All right. Before we go into the experience section, I want to jump down to the skills section. The skills section is one of the most underutilized sections on LinkedIn from a profile building perspective, but it's the most used section when recruiters are trying to find people on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn used to restrict you to only 50 skills. Okay. But now I don't know if there's a cap. And again, Shannon, to your point, it could be that I'm allowed to have more than 50 because I have premium. But at minimum, you should use all 50. And if you have the ability to add more, the more the better. Okay. And it's a combination of soft skills and hard skills, right? So resume writing is a hard skill. But if we saw all of my skills, there are things like communication, there like presentation skills. I did say I had graphic design skills. I think I could get through it now that I have Canva, right? But even further, negotiations, networking. These are the softer side, right? Of skills. And so most job description requirements are full of more soft skills. So as you're reading job descriptions, if you're in the job search mode, and you see certain skills like analytical, communication, collaboration, right? We see these over and over again. Make sure that you have them listed here under skills, because once you add them in the skills section, when you come up and you are entering your experience, it allows you to tag those skills in with that experience. Okay. And before I hit see more here, I also want to, it's the same concept of, do I need it to be every bullet that's on my resume? No. Right. But I can, before I hit see more, I can see the first two lines. So you need to make sure the first two lines under each title pack a punch. Okay. Because you're trying to lure people to hear to click see more. Okay. And I don't have everything that's on my resume listed here. But what I have done is I have tagged, right, these skills with this experience. And again, we can see the first two, but then we have to click on it to see all 16 skills that I have tagged to the current job that I hold. Okay. And it's super easy to add them. You can, when you add the skill, you can tag the job, but when you're in the job, you can also tag the skill. You can do it a couple of different ways. But if we're in the experience section and you're in edit mode, you come down and you got to hit edit again one more time. And as long as I have that skill under the skills section, then I can add them. being very slow today, of course, right down at the bottom. See, and then I can rearrange them too. You can, like, I've got job search strategies and networking first, but I can easily change the order of those, and I can add a skill. Let's just say I don't know this. I don't know this analytical. Is that already on there? Business analysis, right? So I can. It's that easy to add them. Questions about the skills section. Right. Back to experience. Now, we're getting a lot of information from hiring managers and recruiters that that they only really care about the last 10 to 12 years of your work experience. So if you're on this call and you're young in your career, then you need to make sure that you've got everything from undergrad, and if you're in a grad program, a pre-experienced grad program, that information is here and experience. But if you're coming to this call and you've got more than 12 years of experience, you can add some later experience, some experience that you've had earlier in your career, but really focus in on the last 10 to 12 years. That's really what they care the most about. In today's job market, because it's so tough, it is really hard to pivot because the candidate, there's so many candidates right now, that hiring managers are more attracted to people who are applying for their jobs that have done the job. Okay. It's just the way that the market is right now. It's not impossible, but it's just a lot harder to switch and pivot completely. And you really got to hit that networking, right? Calibration. You really have to network really hard to be able to make a successful pivot in any market, but especially in the job market as it is today. So I'd really focus more on the last 10 to 12 years and kind of be all right with letting go some of that earlier experience. It's been really hard for me to let go some of my earlier experience. I've let it go on my resume, but these are still sitting here, and they're sitting here for a reason. The main reason is because I'm in really close contact with my colleagues that I knew from TRC, and TRC is a staffing service. And so I work with a lot of their recruiters, and I help alumni and students get jobs. Because TRC is a really fantastic staffing firm that has really great jobs. So I kind of want to keep that on there so that when I approach someone at TRC, they can see that I worked there as well in my past. We have that in common. I need to probably let go of this Aon. I don't really care about that experience anymore. And I really hope I'm never in a situation where I have to do benefits administration for a third party provider ever again in my life. And so it may be time to let go of that Aon one. But again, it's hard to let go of some of those things. So I really encourage you all to really focus on the last 10 to 12 years. Any questions about that? No? All right, your education. You want to, is everyone that's on this call, let me look at the participants. Is everybody School of Business alums or a School of Business student? I know Shannon and Martin are students, right?
Yes, still a student.
Everybody's in the School of Business, right?
I was undergrad, Sharon. It's June Slowick.
So not undergrad business?
Undergrad business, yes, sorry.
Oh, undergrad business. Okay, School of Business alumni. Okay, good. And so it's a hot topic here around campus on should I use Wake Forest University as my education or Wake Forest University School of Business? Okay, and so we don't have control over which university you use, right? And so if I wanted to add education here, and I want to be a part of I want to be, I want the brand, right? This is a strong brand. So I can use Wake Forest University, this one. Okay. I can use this one as my school. But what's the difference between this one? Why would I use Wake Forest University versus Wake Forest School of Business? There are no, I'm telling you, there are no rules. You get to decide. Okay. We have zero control over it. I'm going to show you a way to find alumni. And so you have to be thinking about, that some people are on LinkedIn with Wake Forest University. I wish that would go away. There it goes away. Like this one, using their school as Wake Forest University, or their employer. Like I've used Wake Forest University as my employer and not Wake Forest University School of Business. Okay. And so you have to look in all these different schools if you're trying to find alumni. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about in just a second. But also pay attention to your degrees, right? Master of Business Administration, Bachelor of Science in Finance. There's probably no reason to use Bachelor of Arts if you have a degree from Wake Forest School of Business. We are a Bachelor of Science. Any questions about education? Okay, if you have any volunteering, if this isn't a section that is currently on your profile, it's super easy to add it. You just go up here and you add profile section. If that's not an offering here, then just hit more and you'll see add a profile section there. While we're up here, let's talk about the open to work banner. So many people have, again, a very controversial subject. And that's if I'm looking for work, if I'm unemployed, should I use the green banner that says open to work? Okay. And it's a personal choice. My recommendation is that you need to think about how you approach decision making and how you approach, it's kind of like your own personal decision to turn it on or leave it off. Personally, if I needed a job and I was unemployed, I would be standing on the corner of every road that was the most populated in Winston-Salem with a sandwich board on saying, please hire me. Like I would not even hesitate to make sure everyone that I knew ever knew that I was looking for work. But that's how Sharon would approach it. Okay. A lot of people are more private. They may even be a little bit more shy or a little bit more reserved, and they don't want the green banner on. Now, we do hear, because of the job market and because we have a lot of unemployed people, that it gets a little stale and noisy to see those green banners on. But again, personal choice. You have the ability to turn your open to work banner on for only recruiters only. Okay. So if I were to choose all LinkedIn members, anyone who came across my profile would see the green open to work banner on. If I choose recruiters only, then only recruiters with the talent management subscription level can see that I am open to work. So if you're currently employed and you don't want your employer to know, then you might want to open it up for just recruiters only, right? So then the public, everyone else won't see that green banner on. And so recruiters, recruiters are using their talent management subscription level to find candidates. So you want to be someone that they find. So at minimum, I suggest that you turn on your open to work banner for recruiters only. Any question about that? Okay, you can add certifications, you can add recommendations, you can ask for endorsements. All of those are important to have because LinkedIn has what's called an all-star status. Like I'm kind of competitive. So when I saw that there was like an all-star status, I wanted to make sure I was an all-star in LinkedIn's eyes, right? And so depending on, how many sections you have completed, and if you have a recommendation and if you have endorsements, will put you into all-star status. And so get them on there. get them on there. I think the more information you can put on LinkedIn, the better. Questions, experience, about me, contact, open to work, background, profile picture. All right. Any questions about just your profile, the nuts and bolts about your profile?
I have one question about the all-star status.
Yes.
Does it indicate somewhere on your profile once you kind of achieve that as some sort of indication similar to letting other people know that you have premium by having that gold little in next to your name?
Yeah. There used to be one like up in here. I'd have to fiddle around with it, Martin. And it could be a feature that they no longer have on your profile. Let me get back to you on that. It used to sit right here. Like see how it says hiring. Like it's just got these two boxes here. It used to be a box, may have even been over here on this side. I do not see it. I'll get back to you on that.
Great, thank you.
It's not as prominent as it used to be. Good question. Other questions? All right. LinkedIn is, like I said, a fantastic database of people. It's a fantastic place to do research. It is a learning platform. And like I said, I learn things every day by just being on LinkedIn. Okay. And I currently have 8,286 followers and even more connections. Not too many more. I'm trying to get to 10,000. And so I've been there, I have this verified badge here. I don't really know what that does or doesn't do. It looks nice. I'm glad I have it. I don't know how I achieved it. But I'm on the platform every day. All right. So for those of you who might not be that familiar with social media platforms, and LinkedIn is still considered social media, they will show favoritism to the people who are more active on the platform. Okay. So I would encourage you to be, especially if you're in job search mode, but even if you're not, to be on the platform for just a little bit every day. Okay. And it's not that you have to write long posts and tag everybody you've ever known ever. Like that's fun, but it's not really needed. You just need to go to your feed every day, right? My home feed here. And just like things and comment on things, okay? And don't force it. If it's interesting and it aligns with you as a professional, then it's just liking something will create this activity, right? And so if you see something that's interesting, then you need to comment on it. And when you comment, you can't just say congratulations. I mean, it counts a little bit, but they want to see 6 words or more. Congratulations, Dale, on this new job on your team or whatever, right? So they really want you to have a complete sentence when you're commenting on things. And the more comments you make and the better the comment is to entice and encourage engagement, the more fuel and the more activity points, I guess you can say, for lack of a better word, that you get. So be active on the platform, like, comment, share things, and connect with people, answer messages that you get. The faster you answer messages and the faster you accept someone's connection request, actually gives you more fuel and more, it's LinkedIn gives you more, it'll help the algorithm present more things to you. And so when we were on my profile, LinkedIn has done an amazing job. Come on, there we go. Of saying, like, it's telling me I do have premium. Who's looked at my profile? All these are my colleagues. So I'm glad they're looking at my profile. But it's also telling me people I should know. And these are professors. These first 2 are professors here at Wake Forest. Another professor. So LinkedIn's looking at the things that I look at. It's looking at the people that I'm connected to. and it's suggesting people. And I should absolutely connect with all these people because they work here in the school business. I know them all except for this Estonia. I can even show all and I'm giving you more. And it's also telling me now, LinkedIn kind of gets a little confused about what kind of job I really am looking for because I look for jobs for a lot of people. And so not just career services job, right? That's my actual title. So it gets really confused. So I'm working with a client who's looking for a supply chain internship. So we were doing some searching together, and now it's saying I should look at this company. And so it's paying attention to the things that I'm paying attention to and serving me up some things and trying to make it a little easier for me to continue to engage with the platform. Any questions about using LinkedIn? All right, we've got a few minutes here. Let's talk about ways to find Wake Foresters, okay? And there's a couple of ways. The first way is to go up to this home search bar here. And again, we're going to find Wake Forest University, the school, not the group. We're going to talk about the groups in just a second. But you can see I can choose Wake Forest University. I can choose the School of Business, the School of Medicine, the School of Law. When I show you how to search for alumni using the school, you have to do this you have to do this search separately for every single school. Okay. And so Wake Forest University, this is our main school page, and there's an alumni feature here. You can click alumni, and LinkedIn's going to curate some lists for us. The first two buckets, where do they work and where do they live? Those are the two main buckets that I care the most about. There are what they do, what they're skilled at, what they studied. I don't ever go into those categories. I really only care where do they work and where do they live. You can press show more here. So if you're looking for jobs if you're looking for alumni, in the Raleigh-Durham area, right? So we have 57,185 alumni that have used Wake Forest University as their school. And so if I'm looking for alumni in Raleigh, there's 3,541. And again, it's already slicing and dicing this for me. And so you can see where they work. You can see the first 16, right, companies that they work at. But if you're targeting a specific company that's not on here, you can add it. NetApp. Enter, and it'll tell you that we have 6 alumni that work at NetApp in Raleigh in the triangle. And if you scroll down, you can see. Now, you can see their profile picture, and you can see their headline. Now, if you don't change your headline, the default is your most recent job. So these fellow alums, he's changed his a little bit, but this is a default. This is a default. These are mostly defaults. All right. So these are their current jobs. But if you're looking to get into digital marketing and you're really interested in NetApp, then I would tell you that you need to connect with Brian. And then you can go to his profile, and then you don't want to follow him. Okay. You follow people like Mark Zuckerberg. You want to connect with people that you want to network with. You need to connect with people like me. You need to connect with fellow alums. If it doesn't give you that option, you just hit the more button and you select connect. And then I will tell you that you always should add a note. Okay. If you're looking at people in that way on your phone and you hit connect, it does not give you this option on your phone. And so people are 85% more likely to accept your connection request if you add a note. Okay. So pro tip of the day, add a note when you're connecting with people. You can also go back to the same search, and you can do like keyword searches on titles. It's, you can get real sophisticated and down a rabbit hole of just trying to slice and dice these 185,000 alumni. But again, you have to do the same thing, School of Business. Oh no, came to the group. School of Business School. And you select alumni. And again, we're going to get a different number here. Some people are in both buckets. Some people you'll find if you you can find them in both the Wake Forest University and the School of Business because they have 2 degrees from Wake Forest. So we have 11,116 alumni. And again, we can see where they work and we can see where they live and you can see their profiles down here. Another way that you can find alumni is by searching for an actual company. And so let's say that you're really interested in working for Google. You go to Google's main page. Thanks for telling me that Google's suing the UK for 6.6 billion. Interesting. So you learn so many things on LinkedIn, but we're on Google's main page here. And if we go to people, we want to find Wake Forest people at Google. Then we go to where they studied and you can see the top, right? These are the top 16 or so schools that are represented by the employees at Google. Wake Forest is not on that list, but if you hit add it, Wake Forest University, and look, thank you, LinkedIn. You've made this a little easier for me. We found 98, and then if we can add Wake Forest School of Business too, and School of Medicine and School of Law, all of them. 107. We can see where they live. And then if we scroll down, we can see what they do. Another way, I know we're running out of time, so please feel free to drop off if you need to. You can go up to My Network and you go to Connections and you go to Search with Filters. And search with all filters. Search with all filters. And it's gonna, you know, if you're trying to find people you're not connected to, you want to choose second and third. You can go by location, you can go by company. So let's say I want to find people that work at Google. That went to, thank you again, LinkedIn, Wake Forest University and Wake Forest School of Business. Show results. And here they are. Now, if you don't have premium, it's going to lock you down. You're only going to get to see so many. So does premium help you? Yes. And do you need premium? No. Okay, because if you're in the same group with someone, you can send them messages. So let's talk about the groups real quick and I'll let you be on your way. So we currently have 3 main private groups that we use to help connect students with alums, alums with alums, and staff and faculty. We all use these private groups. We're probably going to try and condense this. But for now, there are 3 private groups that you should request to join. The first one is Wake Forest Alumni. This one is run by our alumni career center that supports everyone in the university except the professional schools. So they don't support the business school, the law school, the medical school, and the divinity school. Okay. And so it's this one, Wake Forest Alumni Group. You join this group, if all 8 of you join this group and you're not connected to each other, you can send each other a message because you're a member of this same group. So there's 23,000 members and you can slice and dice the members in all kinds of different ways. And there's really great content in here. And we can use that as School of Business alums. We have access to a lot of great resources that our friends over in the on the university side and their alumni office have prepared for us. So it's super helpful. We also, yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt there. Would it be appropriate for a current student to still be able to join the alumni group just for the networking purposes
Um,
with
so
alumni or?
So yeah, I don't, it just depends. Sometimes it depends. Both of the admins, I'm the admin of the next one that I'm going to show you. And if you're affiliated with Wake Forest in any capacity, I'll let you in. But the Wake Forest School of Business alumni is run by Carrie Ross. And then the Wake Forest University alumni group is run by Lauren Beam. I'd have to ask them what their strategy is on it. But um, the biggest group is actually this Wake Forest Career Connectors. Career Connectors. 22,000 people in it. It says 16,000. This has 16,000 people in it. And so, again, I am forwarding jobs in here. My colleagues are forwarding experienced level jobs into these groups. Okay. And so here's a brand manager position at Krispy Kreme that I just reposted. There's a market research manager by an alum. She posted it on her LinkedIn profile. So I reposted it into this group. It's full of really great jobs. And this group has both School of Business and non-School of Business alumni and students in it. We also have Wake Forest School of Business group. They don't have the word alumni in there. So I'd have to ask Carrie if she lets current students in or not. I think she does, but I don't want to misrepresent. 7,000 people in this group. And again, depending on the job, I may only repost it into this group. And then we're always promoting like this session that you're in right now. So programming, happy hours, different news, from the School of Business. This is in the private group. This isn't the public School of Business page that you want to follow, but you want to join this group. So 3 groups: Wake Forest University alumni, Wake Forest Career Connectors, and Wake Forest School of Business. All right, and then you can, if you're in the same group as someone you're not connected to, you can send them a message without the premium subscription. One more trick, one more hack, and then I will let you on your way. So this jobs bucket here, this a product, right? That LinkedIn has built. It's a robust job board. Okay, it's still good. Okay, you can search on title, city. You can search on all kinds of fun things, right? But it's getting a little stale, and there's a little bit more noise on the LinkedIn job board. So I want everybody to know that it's only part of the story, okay? Because the way that LinkedIn has structured their fees to advertise jobs on LinkedIn. A recruiter could put a job up and it can stay up there for 30 days. And if she or he gets enough candidates in the first 7 days, she might not remember to take it down. Okay. And so it could be that she didn't get enough in the 7 days and it's still sitting up there for a reason. But that's one of the reasons that jobs get a little stale. And, we've heard the term fake jobs. There are a lot of fake jobs on LinkedIn. And so, know that if you're looking for jobs, LinkedIn isn't the whole story. And when we, Martin, I'll make sure that you get this too. When we, we're going to follow this up with the recording, and I don't have any PowerPoint slides, but I'll send you a list of job boards that I think are really helpful. Okay. So I've curated this list. Where did he go? Here he is, job boards. And so, like I said, LinkedIn is only part of the story. A couple of these that I like a lot are Welcome to the Jungle. They're down here. Welcome to the Jungle. I like this one a lot. And I like Hiring Cafe. If you're only looking for remote jobs, there's some great remote only job boards. I'd probably steer as clear as I possibly can from government jobs right now. But I've got some industry specific boards that you should be looking at jobs. I've heard a lot about Job Espresso here. Teamwork Online, if you're looking for jobs in sports, really, really robust, really great job board. But you always need to also include, and it needs to be the main part of your strategy, going to company websites and looking at their careers page. It's always closer to the truth. Not necessarily always the truth, but it's closer to the truth. So one hack that I have learned about is to go up into this main search bar, type the words hiring, all caps, and product manager and remote, or and Charlotte. Let's do Charlotte. And then when you press see all results and you choose posts. What this is doing is LinkedIn's going out and look at everyone's profile post. And if those words, hiring, product manager, and Charlotte, are anywhere in their post, then it's finding. Like here's Courtney. She's hiring for a product manager at Credit Karma. And somewhere in this is Charlotte. Look at that. Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay. And she's please share this. A lot of times they pull you right to the company website. So here's Stephen, and he's hiring for a product manager in Charlotte, and he's not referring you up to this jobs bucket here. He's taking you right to the company website. And like I said, it's a little closer to the truth. So if this was a job that you were really interested in, you go to the job board, the career site for this company, then I would tell you and advise you that you need to connect with Stephen. He is begging for you to connect with him. He needs candidates. Connect with Stephen. Tell him that you saw his post on LinkedIn. Now, this was 10 months ago, so that's probably a little old, but you can do it off of, right, the past week. Tell him that you saw the job on LinkedIn and you're really interested in learning more about the role in the company. Okay. And hopefully he isn't too inundated with inbox messages and he can get back to you. And it's a really great way to warm up a connection where you may not have any. And so that is it. It's